Very important.
Very important.
What do you want to talk about?
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome back to Crate Talk. I got a special guest with me today, Greg Gerardo. Greg, say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
Excellent. I don't know. What are we going to talk about today? Have a sandwich?
Nice. I don't know. Let's see. Civil War comes out this weekend.
Civil War. Let's talk about Civil War.
Okay.
So, what are you anticipating? What are you excited about? Are you excited about it?
I'm excited about it. I have a feeling that they learned from their mistakes as a studio with the last Avengers movie when it came to ensemble stuff. That hit on a lot of notes that I think a lot of people didn't like. There was a lot of stuff that steered away from the original Avengers and went towards more of a... I don't know, it seemed like it lacked substance, and the villain wasn't, I think, on point as much as Loki was in the original. So I think that pitting characters that everybody likes against each other is going to be kind of a really good catalyst for the story, and also introducing other villains too, which I don't know the list, but I know they're doing some other like minor villains that they're going to be fighting in that one too.
I know Crossbones.
Right.
I know he's in it.
Yeah.
I honestly have been kind of keeping away from most of that. But I am... Well, all right, let me ask you this.
Easy.
Are you familiar with the book?
I'm familiar with... I haven't read the books.
Mm-hmm.
I am familiar with the storyline of the book, but I don't... word for word and story for story, I don't... But I was always intrigued by that idea. Like, when that came out, like the cover alone was just, blew my mind. And there's a really good, funny meme out there. It's like reality and what you expect to happen is like, it's like 4 people on one side, 4 people on the other side for the movie, and then on the comic book it's dozens and dozens because they had the full catalog to work with.
Yeah, no, I'm well, all right. It's like, okay, so Marvel is releasing a lot of trailers.
Yeah,
right. We've just talked
they make
about
a good
camera.
trailer though.
They do make a good trailer. They're releasing a lot. They're releasing too much information. But I'm kind of torn with that though.
Okay.
Like what you were kind of just saying is like 2 trailers back. I think it was 2 trailers back. They finally kind of got into it more. What their premise is for the movie.
Right.
Right. Because like for the book, which you kind of can't do because the book involves like the Fox characters and all kind of other crazy shit.
Yes.
But it's like for the book, it's like this team acted rashly and people died.
Yes.
And the government got tired of people dying and all the other calamity that comes with superheroes. So y'all got to register. I don't want to register. You better register. Who's going to register? I don't want to register. I'm not a sex offender. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. But it was always curious to me because everybody knows. Like the MCU characters aren't a mystery.
Right.
I don't know. So for me, it was always like, well, everyone in the MCU knows who the MCU people are.
Right.
So what does it matter?
Yeah.
But I liked how the last trailer kind of showed. This is why. This is like Thunderbird Ross was like, this is what you guys did.
Right.
And this is what has to happen. And it kind of made sense to me. I kind of like that.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I know this book was written way before even the DC movies came out, but it seems like almost a direct stab at the collateral damage in the first Superman movie, which was just Zack Snyder off the charts, and there was even more in Batman versus Superman. So it was just like someone's got to be accountable, and someone and that's but. Yeah, we'll see. I want to like it, and I want to go in liking it so much because I was hooked from the first Iron Man movie, and I also don't want to pick sides because I like Captain America and I like Iron Man, and
right.
And there's, I don't know if this is the movie where the last time we'll see Tony Stark in the suit, but I know that that's eventually coming, or it's supposed to be coming.
Well, he was last week.
Okay.
Last week, there was an article confirming that he's in Spider-Man.
Right.
We don't know.
But is
we don't know if
he in
he's in the
Spider-Man
suit.
or is Iron Man in Spider-Man? You know, it's like, is it just Tony Stark? Because Spider-Man is obviously in, and this is Sony making Civil War a trailer for, you know, their free publicity. It's like, hey, you know, the first 2 times we tried to do Spider-Man, maybe this time will work because we've got Tony Stark in it. You know, look, it's a guy you love, and he's in our movie now. So
That's funny.
I don't know. I thought that the second reboot of, or the first reboot, the second time around with Garfield had potential. I think the first movie had potential, but Jamie Foxx and, you know, the second, and then they had a whole thing lined up for their villains. They had a whole Insidious 6 set up with that room with all the gear in it, and, you know, they did the Rhino, and they were going to do Vulture, and that's what I hear is the villain for the new Spider-Man movie is Vulture.
I dig that. That's what's up. But it's funny because, like,
You don't want it to be the Green Goblin again? Come on!
Only Mr. Defoe comes back.
Yeah, no, and they were on the wrong track from the beginning when they gave Willem Dafoe an actor with some of the best facial expressions and emoting out of anybody, you know, that we've seen in a while, and they put him in a mask that you could not see his face when he was being a badass.
It's funny. I feel the exact opposite.
You really?
Of the Spider-Man movies. For me, it was like, all right. I mean, I'll give the Cosmo Spider-Man 3. I'll give that. But up until Spider-Man 3,
The emo dance sequence, you didn't like that?
No, it's like for me, it's like
cafe,
like Spider-Man, like the Tobey Maguire stuff.
Yeah.
Again, like for what was happening in today. Not so much.
No.
Today, the tone, like I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan. I love Sam Raimi. I love what he's doing. But for today's market, what's happening, the tone of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films doesn't work anymore. But for the time...
Oh, absolutely.
And for it being like, other than that TV show in like the 80s or the 60s, whenever that live action show was, it was like, holy shit, man, Spider-Man movie. And it was cool.
Yeah.
And I liked Tobey. I love Spider-Man 2. I thought that Doc Ock was great.
Yes.
I love when, you know, Tobey Maguire revealed to Aunt May that it was his fault. I'm like, there was so much like power and emotion in that. And of course, all of that went to pot in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, but the thing is, it had such great potential because Venom is such a cool character, and they can do a lot of cool shit with that.
So I had a theory.
They treated it right in the cartoon.
I had a theory at the time. Like I knew what would have worked. Well, what should have happened was, I mean, cut the emo stuff first of all.
Well, yeah.
But what should have happened was
filler.
Spider-Man 3 should have been about how he got the suit, the black suit,
right,
and whatever villain you want.
Yeah.
Just one villain. And let him deal with that. And let him deal with Mary Jane leaving him. And let all that stuff work out. Take the Harry and that whole thing they had going on. Get rid of that. Just him and the symbiote and one villain and dealing with MJ leaving him.
Yeah.
At the end of 3, he's at the clock tower.
Oh.
And chiming.
Just trying to take
it
off.
off. And, you know, according to established Brock throughout 3, so we understand
Eddie
that
Brock
tension.
Creeps in.
And then at the end of 3, the symbiote hits Eddie Brock. And then, you know, you end it with the Venom scream.
That would have been cool.
And then you finish it with a 4. And then 4 is Spider-Man and Venom.
Yeah.
It just, you know, go for it, bam. They did this, crush all that together.
Yeah.
And then
it's tough because you have to establish that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, I didn't like... I like Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
I didn't like his Spider-Man.
I thought that his Spider-Man... I like Andrew Garfield. I thought that his Spider-Man was the closest we got to the Spider-Man of my youth, the one I fell in love with, which was the 90s cartoon version of it.
See, I don't even think he did that right.
But see... it's not so much him as the writing. Like, I enjoyed the writing because I thought he was as much of a smartass in those as the Peter Parker / Spider-Man was in those cartoons, where it was humor, and he was always making quips, and
Well, see, I thought that he was. It's like there's a line, right?
Yeah, no, I get you.
Between like,
but I feel like they
funny
didn't touch
smartass and asshole smartass.
True.
And I felt that more so in Spider. It's like I like Amazing Spider-Man 2 more than Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Oh, really?
And part of that is because I feel like in Amazing Spider-Man 2, I mean, like, we're of different ages.
Yes.
But it's like...
But not by much.
Not by much. And it's the 90s cartoon, I'm like, I love that cartoon. And I felt like in 2, he was more funny, sarcastic, smart ass, going along with it. And he was more like that kind of Peter Parker. Whereas in 1, he was an asshole.
Yeah,
for the most part. He was especially like the first half of the movie, he was an asshole. Yeah. And it was too much of an asshole.
I get you.
For me.
No, I can take that, but I just one of my biggest complaints, besides the Willem Dafoe thing, on the Tobey Maguire was that was
he didn't have
completely lacking.
Yeah, he didn't have
He wasn't funny. He wasn't likable in that sense. Yeah. He was just aloof and like, but the confidence that Garfield brought to it, especially in the second one, and I agree with you. I think his portrayal of the character in the second one was better than the first one, because I think in general you can be more comfortable as Spider-Man and with what's happening in the world once you've established the origin story. Yeah. Which I heard, I could be wrong, but I heard that the next Spider-Man will not start with an origin story.
Yeah, I heard they're just going
to be like, hey, you know what happened. You've seen it twice on film. Yeah. Radioactive Spider.
And we're going to meet him. We're going to meet him in this.
Right. We're going to meet him as Spider-Man.
Yeah, so I think we're just going to kind of go with it.
Which, it might be interesting. It might be interesting to not have to deal with an origin story. Yeah. Because you don't see that a lot. You don't see franchises kicking off. I mean, you and I know it, and I'm sure the people watching this know the origin story of most anybody that's going to be, but you still have to make it palatable for everybody else that doesn't know. But people are like, yeah, we know Spider-Man.
Yeah, we got it. Well, it's like, and I don't want to hanker on this. I've already talked way too much about Batman vs. Superman. But, I mean, like...
I could go for a little bit on that.
Yeah, but that is like... Okay, all right, we're going to jump into Batman vs. Superman for a second. Yeah. So just to talk about the flashback origin story part of it. Okay. So it's like what I liked about that setup was that it gave you Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right? I'm saying it right? John Winchester. He's John Winchester to me. Is that, they show him when when Chill or whoever it is in their universe has the gun out. Yeah. And instead of just being like, here's the money, you're powering,
it was a cool
they
moment.
showed him be like, you're going to shoot me anyway.
Right.
So you're going to earn this. Yeah. And he just kind of went in for it. And people are arguing like, well, if he hadn't done that, like, nah, he was going to die.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
He was destined to die. He just didn't go out like a pump.
Right.
And I like that, because I thought that was something new that we've never seen before. And it gave a little something extra to who this Bruce Wayne is. Because this is the guy who's the son of that guy. Right. And the guy who is a billionaire, tycoon, industrialist, who will jump and slug a mugger is a different kind of industrialist father than someone who wouldn't, like the Christopher Nolan version of him, or any other previous version of him. Who just kind of
scared and just, the kid watches his parents go out without putting up a fight.
So I liked that he gave us something new.
No, you can only tell that story so many ways. Yeah. But it was a cool little wrinkle, and I did notice that as well. I thought Affleck was the best part of that movie. I thought that his portrayal of Batman was pretty badass, and I'm looking forward to a written and directed version that he's going to have total control over, which is going to be pretty interesting.
That will be pretty interesting. Yeah. Him, and I believe... If it's the most recent article I read is correct, Jeff Johns is going to be involved in that.
Oh, really? Okay. So
that's going to be, it's like, who do you go to get to do your coverage? Is that guy?
Yeah, I just, I don't know. I mean, I thought that they sold us a bill of goods that they did not deliver on with that movie. I know you've talked about it on. Just
it's fine. My 2 cents. Different things to it. So we're not talking the same argument.
No, I felt that they kind of sold it as, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and then we got
and Cyborg even.
Yeah, like,
Cyborg's gonna be in it, and they're all gonna be in it.
And then they kind of teased the Flash a little bit.
Yeah.
And the Flash ended up being in it more than Aquaman. I mean, it seemed like they desperately needed people to go see this movie and think that it was going to start of something like the MCU. It was going to be their kickoff for, look at our team of badass superheroes and how our movies are just like theirs. But
just take a breath. Just take it. That's what. Essentially, it's like that's what needs to happen over there. It's like they need to. It's like who cares what they're doing?
Right.
We're this. But we got this. We're gonna take our time. And it's like they are taking their time with their release dates.
Yes.
But they're not taking their time with what's in the story.
No, you have to put one guy at the top. You have to have several different people working on several different movies at the same time, and you have to crank them out on a schedule. And they're just waiting too long. The buzz is just.
You have to believe in what you're doing, and it's like that's the thing with like you talk about the MCU, and it's like they're dropping like first of all, they fucking released Guardians of the Galaxy. Then they released Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And, now we got Doc Strange coming out. And I mention these specifically because whoever heard of Guardians of the Galaxy?
That's true. You're right.
I never heard. Obviously people have, but it's like the general public never heard of that.
That was not a book I was familiar with at all.
Two of your main characters are a tree and a raccoon.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
And that movie was amazing.
That movie was really good.
It was amazing.
Really looking forward to the second one of that.
And then
and I want to see those characters. Obviously they're in the same universe, but I want to see the terrestrial, the Earth Marvel characters kind of interact with them. I mean, we know Star-Lord, his father, was one of the Ravagers or.
We don't know yet in the movie.
Right.
We don't know who it's going to be.
Right, but he was, Ondo was tasked with, taking him from the planet, and so he was an Earthling, and so there's a connection there, and the music is the best part of that freaking movie. But I want to see him deal with Thor or deal with, Captain America or something. I want to see how they're going to do that. I'm so curious as to how those two worlds are going to intersect. I mean, we saw a little bit with the Collector and obviously the Infinity Stones, but that's about it.
No.
We don't know how those Infinity Stones. Maybe it's going to be in the what do they call them? The final two. The
Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Oh yeah, it'll all come to a head there.
Yeah. And the Gauntlet and the Stones and.
Yeah, they'll all.
Yeah.
We're still alive.
I'm gonna be sad though because if he ever assembles the Gauntlet, does that mean that the Vision is gone? Does that mean that?
That is a question. That is a curious question. Like, well, when he does, he's got to assemble it. But what will happen to the Vision?
Because the Vision has, in my opinion, one of the most badass moments in any Marvel movie yet, and it's honestly one of the few saving graces and one of the moments that I'll stay and watch Age of Ultron for is when he picks up the hammer. When I first saw that thing,
the best part was just Thor's face.
Yeah.
He's like,
okay, we're doing that, and then Hemsworth's face when Steve Rogers picks it up and it moves a little bit.
Yeah,
it gets a little nervous, which is a cool little moment.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, sweating bullets.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like but the reason you even want to like go into any of that is because they made that movie.
Yeah.
And a movie that no one heard of, and they just said, "Well, we want to make this. We're just gonna make it. And it's gonna be dope."
And you'll watch it.
And it's like that's what it's that kind of cavalier, confident attitude that I feel is missing over in Burbank. It's missing with them because, I mean, everybody loves can't speak for Superman, but people love Batman.
People absolutely love Batman.
People love Batman.
Yeah.
People love Batman. And
I think people love Superman too, but I think people love the idea of Superman more than the way he's been recently portrayed in anything that we've seen. I mean, people love Smallville and people, obviously the Brandon Roth Superman did not do well.
Right.
But
even Brandon Roth was more, Superman.
Right. But I mean, you can sell a Superman T-shirt to pretty much, you have one, I bet.
I do.
I have one. I've had actually probably a dozen in my life. I have a Superman tattoo on the back of my neck. I liked the idea of Superman. I just don't know if the character has been handled correctly in a while.
Yeah, I mean that's
I should say in live action media.
Yeah,
because it's hard to do.
Well, since Superman 2.
Yeah.
Since Christopher Reeves, Richard Donner, Superman 2. I mean but the funny thing is, like, animation does it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Animation does it all the time.
The animation department over there is crushing it. It's like there's an ideal. So all right. So Batman vs Superman, Ben Affleck is a strained version of that, but he's still within that ideal of what Batman is.
Right.
Gal Gadot. One of my favorite parts of Batman vs Superman is when Gal Gadot is fighting it's Doomsday, right? He's fighting Doomsday, and he smacks her across like blocks, her shield or sword, and she just kind of gets up and like smiles, and she's like, oh yeah, let's get this in, and like that's who Wonder Woman's been the last decade. She's been that person.
Yep.
And I thought she captured that fantastic. And Henry Cavill, like I was telling him, talking about it last time, is like he's not a bad actor from other things that I've seen, but it's just this Superman is like, this is a Superman who had a puppy when he was a kid, and somebody came and shot the puppy, and he never got over it.
Yeah,
that's who this guy is. It's like he's just dark, and he's brooding.
He's brooding,
and nothing.
And he's brooding because he let his dad die. I mean, he just his parents were killed by a mugger, and that turned him into a vengeful vigilante. He sat back, and his dad told him to let him die. And
right. I'd have been like, you know how fast I am? How about I just come get you?
Yeah. Let's explain it to these people later when you're alive and safe underneath this overpass with the rest of us. I mean, there's a good chance that only like 2 or 3 are going to see. And you know what?
And they'll just be like, I thought he was, maybe he wasn't.
I could have been wrong.
I don't know.
Hey,
we're alive. Yay.
Yeah. But what a thing to do to a young, a young person at that age. Is like, yeah, you're gonna have to you can save him, but don't.
Yeah. Well, even let's on that track, we can even step back a little bit further to when he saved that bus of kids from drowning,
and he told them not to.
Kent was like,
just let him die.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
let them die. F them kids. Screw that.
Yeah, it's a really weird way to look at the world.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have a question for you.
Yo.
Is he dead or is he not dead?
Jonathan Kent?
Nah, Superman.
Oh, no, he's not dead.
He's not dead. So what's gonna happen? Do you think? I don't know.
They're gonna have to do something.
They'd have kept him dead though. That'd been.
Yeah, but you can't keep him dead and do Justice League.
Sure, you can.
Not the way they want to.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna segue into something else.
Okay.
Because that kind of is a commentary on my problem with the X-Men. So X-Men dropped a new trailer.
It did.
Hopefully the last trailer. Even though nowadays...
I'm slowly building the movie at home just from the clips they've released. I've pretty much got it all set except for the opening credits.
Yeah, I know what happens already. So I mean, hopefully this new one is the last one. So, I don't know. You're familiar with the X-Men, more or less.
Once again, and not to go back on something I said earlier, but I fell in love with a lot of these comic properties because the animation in the 90s, they came out with all these series, and I was just a kid sitting in front of the TV going, more please, more please. Yeah, that's my love for the X-Men. And they were my first, I all in on the X-Men. Love the X-Men.
Love the X-Men.
I had glasses as a kid, so I identified with Cyclops. I was just, every once in a while, I'd be like, no, it's not yet.
That's hilarious, man. Yeah, right. Had the fucking knives in the fingers.
Yeah, everybody did it. Everybody, you know.
So, I have not read every X-Men book. There's been a lot of them. A lot of different versions.
Yeah,
of them.
exactly. Which
the
is
uncanny, the classic, but from what I have read and from what I understand, I've never really seen a storyline where Mystique is the boss.
Right.
So,
well, yeah, you never. Think nowhere. I haven't seen anything that has Mystique on the good side of things. I
other than like a little story here, a little story
right
there,
when she like has a heart for a little bit and does something against Magneto or against it, but like I've never seen her act. And the thing is that with all these properties, are these films adapted from original works, or are these just characters and some storylines lifted from a different medium? Like, you can't like, oh, they didn't do that because they didn't do that in the comics like that. Are they their own thing now? Like, do we have to keep comparing them to the characters that they've established in the comics?
I think to a point. I think that as far as like the Superman issue was, as far as where it's like we've established repeatedly what Superman is.
Right.
Like there's a definition of Superman. You could, sprinkle on it and
Superman's not going to pick up a gun and shoot anybody.
But Superman is this guy. Mm-hmm. And I think as far as that goes, like you have to. If you're gonna name something,
right,
something that's already been in existence, you have to keep the consistency going.
Yes.
But also no, it doesn't have they don't have to retell specific stories. But I feel like the X-Men situation is a third thing.
Okay.
X-Men, kind of like from the beginning, from the very first movie, X-Men has been a universe built on who's hot right now in the real world. You know what I mean? Like, who do people love?
Do you mean actor-wise?
Actor-wise.
Okay, yeah.
Like definitely, like I'm so happy that Wolverine is in every single movie.
Yeah.
Because he.
Yeah. Even just giving him the finger in First Class was just like a perfect moment.
And honestly, and you know what, I'll do a breakdown of this one day. But honestly, like, if you put the movies in timeline order,
like, timeline is in
like when they happen in their universe.
Okay,
like
so chronological
order.
Do you
put them in
start
chronological
with
order.
The Wolverine or?
I think so.
Oh no! X-Men Origins.
First Class happens before Origins happens.
Well. Yeah, I guess the meat of First Class happens before, because Origins starts in the flashback when they're little kids.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry.
That part obviously, that's that build up.
Right.
But I mean, if you take all the Wolverine scenes.
So First Class starts.
Take all the Wolverine scenes and lay out the Wolverine scenes in the chronological order. Mm-hmm. He has an amazing arc. I don't know if it was on purpose or it was an accident, but he has this arc that you can follow with like just his scenes, where he goes, like, he hits different peaks and different lows, but it all flows naturally, and it flows really nice all the way up to.
So where do you put the Wolverine and Days of Future Past? Is Days of Future Past the last one? Is that what you're okay?
Yeah.
Now, he's a different character in that movie compared to all the other. He is drinking the Xavier Kool-Aid. He's seen the shit that's happening, and he was doing anything it takes to help. And in a movie and from where he started, in a movie where he's the voice of reason and he's like the most focused on the task at hand. Is like completely different from where he started.
Like his development as Wolverine was amazing.
Very cool.
And and so I
and it's a shame they took the Sabretooth kind of turn, because they established him in the first movie.
Yeah.
Which I actually thought that the way he looked in the first movie
was pretty good.
Was pretty badass compared to the way he looked in the comics. The huge hulking thing with a lot of hair and the little...
Well, they had to make sure that you knew, since they cast Liev Schreiber, that you could see Liev Schreiber.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, you don't...
Or Lev.
Lev?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
He's probably narrating something somewhere.
Right. But but it's like, so that's my one end of the spectrum.
That's cool.
My other end of the spectrum is Jennifer Lawrence. And no diss to Jennifer Lawrence, but it's obvious that you're throwing Mystique all over the place.
Yeah.
Because Jennifer Lawrence is hot right now.
Very hot right now.
You know, she's very hot right now. She's topical. She's you know.
Yeah, it's true. And it's a minor character, and it's a minor character that I think was played very well by help me,
Rebecca Romijn.
Yeah, Rebecca Romijn. Mm. In the first 3 movies, and then I thought that she did a really good job. I mean, it's a villain. It's what we know her as a villain, and it's a different character now. And she's fine, and she's I don't know. I mean, is she Morph? Is she what Morph was in the X-Men now?
Maybe.
Because
you know what? Maybe. But I don't know. I mean, because it's like, it's obvious that it's because it's her.
Yeah.
You know,
no, you're right.
Like, her being there doesn't really serve anything.
It's like, hey, we're going to give you this X-Men movie without the actor you love, and you will lose sales to teenage girls.
Yeah. So they're forcing her all over the place. It's just weird.
You're right.
It's just weird seeing that, you know, that Mystique.
Yeah, it's so
like, you know, she's the voice of reason.
Yeah,
she's the one that like Beast goes to in the trailer.
Like,
you know, they took him. We need to get things going. Like, we need you.
Yeah, you're going to be the one to unite this team. It's like, if I remember correctly, in the second movie, you kind of put in some poison, and you know, was it wherever she like screwed up Cerebro, or which movie? You know, I was like, that's some bad shit in the other incarnations. But I guess now that we've started from the past, then those characters have gone, and that was the whole thing. That's why I thought, instead of rebooting, I liked what they did with Days of Future Past, where now the timeline is different. Anything can happen, and none of it will contradict the other movies.
Right. No,
casting choices, everything, it can be explained a little differently.
Well, that's why I feel like that first Star Trek movie worked so well.
Yes.
It was very interesting.
You set up,
the same
and
thing
then
in Star
they
Trek.
Killed it with the second.
In that sense, where, well, they know what I want then. If it's because of the whole, like, the past has been rebooted and now we're in a new timeline trajectory, then I want to see more things change. You know, I don't want to just have it so that now in this timeline, Mystique is good, and Mystique, or good-ish, and Mystique is this leader of the X-Men. Yeah. I want to see more things change. Like, I want to see people that we know of as good be bad. Like, I want to see somebody die. I mean, I want to see things. Yeah. Like, I don't just want, like, Mystique to be the only ripple in the pond.
I mean, I think the problem is with that is it's a balance, because you make her good, you make her pivotal to these movies because you have to keep the non-fans going to the movies. I think if you change too many characters that the fans love, the X-Men comic book fans, you have an ability of alienating them and turning them off.
But then my response to that is that they've been doing that since the beginning. You know what I mean? It's like they've been shortchanging the X-Men characters from the jump. You know, like the first movie comes out, Rogue is this little nebbish, shy teenage girl who only has her sucking power. You know, she doesn't have she's not at full strength, and she never gets to full strength.
Well, you know, and the thing is that this is the whole thing between what source material you're taking this from. What I know of, and actually what was established in the 90s cartoon, was the fact that she got her flying, ass-kicking, super strength power from absorbing Miss Marvel's character, which I guess they're changing to they changed to Captain Marvel for feminism. Okay. Which Shazam, and it's a lot of Captain Marvels. Yeah. Okay.
No, but, a lot of them.
Yeah. But I would have liked to have seen that at some point in the movie, maybe in the third movie, just because she did, you know, and that was under Mystique's wing. She was posing as, like, I forget who it was, but she was pretending to be someone and got her to steal the powers of Miss Marvel and became badass. But they did not do that. They left her with just the ability to, and it freaks her out every time she does it. It's not like, you know, she's going around taking a little bit of there, taking a little bit of there. You know, there would be scenes in the show where, like, they would need to fight somebody, and she would take a little bit off of someone just to do something. Oh yeah, and she used it as.
Well, that's the thing. It's like Rogue is a kick-ass character. Yeah, you know, but the movies robbed her of that. And the same thing, you were talking about your glasses. It's like Cyclops is a leader. Cyclops is the kick-ass character,
which he was in the first
two
films.
I don't know if I'd give him that.
He had the role of the leader. He was
in the role of leader, but the
character was terrible. No. He was...
and it's like, so we didn't get this, like, commanding presence. And that's not on James. That's just like, they didn't want to make him. They wanted to make sure that Wolverine is the complete focus, and then Charles is the next focus. And even like Storm. It's like all the characters that have been in the X-Men, the original X1, X2, X3, whatever, other than Xavier and Magneto and Wolverine, like they were all kind of kind of characters. And so I feel like the fans have already accepted it. You know what I mean? They like people who are not fans, who are just like casual viewers, like, oh, that sounds like fun, let's watch it. They won't care as long as it's good. And people who are fans have already waved the white flag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like they keep making the movies, and you got to do something interesting now. If which is another thing we're going to go into in a second, but if the property remains with Fox, right, and if they continue going, and if Hugh Jackman really is stepping away after this next Wolverine solo movie, depending on how much, Jennifer Lawrence wants to keep messing with it, because she might want to start doing other things, what does that leave you with?
I believe that leaves you with Deadpool. I mean, I think you're going to have to find a way to...
That's a good answer.
...to hang your hat on Ryan Reynolds taking over for Hugh Jackman, and I think you're going to have to bring him in and make the X-Men movies. Problem is that, you've got the Ryan Reynolds school of movies now that he set up, that tone, that R-rated, really good tone. That was such a good movie. Really good tone with the with the Bedhead Harry singer,
right?
With his
right.
I think at some point you either going to have to take the X-Men from him and give them and put them under the Ryan Reynolds school and make those the movies that everybody's going to see, or you're going to have to kill the franchise. I mean, I don't see where else the franchise can go.
I don't either.
After Apocalypse, because Apocalypse is the big bad in the X-Men franchise.
Yeah.
He is, he's their
he's their Thanos.
Yeah, he's their Thanos. He's their Darkseid.
Yeah,
he's their big bad, and I don't think that you can, once you've done. I don't know how they're going to end this movie, but there's not much to go. Nowhere else to go after that, unless you go back to Phoenix, because you've got a new Jean Grey, and you do it right. You do it with the aliens and all that sort of stuff, or the plague. You can do it with even the plague takes from Apocalypse, but I heard they're going to do. Their Cable is going to be in the next
Deadpool.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see who they choose for Cable.
Yeah.
But there's some characters you could bring. I mean, they did Bishop, and I thought they did Bishop right. Actually,
I like Bishop.
I was very curious as to how they're going to do it, and they did it exactly how I thought they should have. I thought he was a really good character, but again, not a lot of substance. He was just in the movie for the action sequences. Yeah, but he's supposed to be a time traveler, and so is Cable, and they're and that's. I don't know. Fox has got some decisions to make, because Deadpool proved how many people will see a movie even if it's an R-rated movie.
Yeah. Well, how many people want to see it.
Right. And that's the thing, is that the whole buzz was, you can't make an R-rated movie if you want to make your money back, or if you want to make, if you want to set box office records. It can't be an R movie, because no, people saw it multiple times because it was good.
People are still seeing it.
Yeah. I think it just came out on iTunes.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to blow up. As soon as that Blu-ray comes out, that's going to blow up. I'm going to get it.
Yep.
I know that. So...